Welcome to Cat the Minion YouTube channel. My name is Teresa, but you can call me Cat. This is going to be a June bonus reading for Taurus because they had the most early bird views, which is I post the videos 4 days before the month starts, and whoever gets the most views in that time gets a bonus reading. So I had 3 that stood out. I had Taurus, that had, I think, almost 30 views, and then Libra pretty close behind, and then Aquarius only had, Aquarius didn't have as many views. They didn't get, over 20, so they're sort of an honorable mention. So they're not getting a separate reading, it's just the 2. So whoever is the front runner. The spread that I'm doing is my general inquiry spread. Normally there's going to be 12 tarot cards like I have set up here. So wands, cups, swords, and pentacles according to different elements and how the suits reflect what's going on in the mind and spirit and heart and body. And then I have past, present, and future. But what this reading is going to be about, I decided, since normally when I do this reading the querent would be asking a question, I've decided to see what your guides want to tell you. And then I would have an oracle card to get a topic for the reading, and then another oracle card to get closure for the reading. But instead of using an oracle card, I've pulled from my bucket of charms. So I have some charms that I've thrown down on the cards to start, and then I've got some charms over here in a heap so I don't forget to get them later to close the reading out. And if you were buying a reading from me, I would shuffle and lay the cards out and jiggle the charms out of the box on camera. But because of how long it takes to edit and compile the videos, I try to cut it down a few minutes. So this is the Dreams of Gaia Tarot, and then I've got my charms. Planning on trying to make some bas-relief charms that are sort of like 3-dimensional, epoxy, plastic kind of situation, or resin. But I need to finish some other projects first, and or wait until I can afford to dabble with more art supplies. I just dropped a chunk on some paint for my painting. So let's look at these charms to start off the reading to see what Taurus's guides, or anyone who's dealing with Taurus energy right now, is going to be getting into. So I have a unicorn. Right off the bat, I'm thinking swords energy. We've got third eye activation going on here. So we have something that's mythical, right? Something that's like interdimensional. So right away, we're talking about your guides, and they send down an interdimensional being. It's sort of like it touches its horn to your forehead and kind of beams the information into you. Right? It's like we're not going to abduct you, we're just going to give you a download while you're sleeping. While you are sleeping. A little bit of Kesha coming in there in my head. Alright, so this is I Cannot Brain today. I have the dumb. This is a cat caught in the blinds I copied from a meme. Should be roughly in focus about here. Right, this is like when you wake up and you're like you're not all the way in your body and you're having a difficult time navigating the material world, which will happen after some cosmic downloads. They're just like, I just can't seem to get anything right now. So I'm looking at this ruler, sort of non-denominational ruler here. We don't know if it's cubits, we don't know if it's megalithic yards or meters or feet or what, but we have some kind of measure, incremental. Oh, I should make like a little dropper, like an eyedropper. So we have something like incremental, like you're getting incremental downloads. But I also see this snake too, right? It's only when your body is able to resonate with the message enough. But even still, the result is being brain dead for the next couple of days afterwards. Like, it's after all that information, it's like your neurons have to reset and process the information, and it's something that takes like all of the energy of the physical body. So speaking of energy, this flashlight, I know it looks like a broom, but it is a flashlight, because we got the light beams coming out of it. The it's not going to work unless there's batteries in it, right? The light only goes a short distance. It doesn't go all the way up to here. We don't have high beams right now because it's like I can't, it's not very bright in here. I can't see where I'm going. I tripped and now I'm caught in the blinds. I have the tetrahedron here. This is about structure, right? The strongest structure in the universe. Now, I'm going to set this aside until I see what these inverted charms are. I can see the microscope already. But this is like the smallest. Tetrahedron is the smallest, like, complete solid. The smallest platonic solid. All the sides are the same. The smallest space you can get with straight edges, making up a three-dimensional object, and also the strongest as well. So, and even so, I drew the tetrahedron quite small when I made it. Again, incremental, right? I'm giving you the smallest pieces of information, but it's the key building block. It's going to lay a strong foundation. So we have the rainbow inverted. Now it is Pride Month, so I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Sort of like sunshine, or oh, it's like darkness. It's like an inverted spectrum. I'm going to put this with the flashlight. There's something to do with the light spectrum. That's not necessarily just pride, although like unicorns and rainbows go pretty well together too. We'll see. So we have the magnifying, the microscope. Jesus Christ, I don't know why I always get that wrong when I say that. The microscope inverted. It's like there's some details missing. I'm having a hard time focusing in on what it is. So I have the phone, the cell phone inverted. It's like this information is not something that's you can easily talk to other people about, right? Or if you're communicating with people, it's not happening even in like a digital world. It's all extra dimensional, right? Like when I'm trying to use my phone in a dream, I can never get it to work properly. Like I can't push the buttons, or there's something wrong with it, or there's no cord, or there's like 40 messages coming through at once, or I can't get my password. Like the phone doesn't work in extra dimensional space. So I also have the star inverted. And here I'm actually seeing this more like a starburst, like a shooting star, a meteorite, or like a supernova. It's giving me more like a supernova. What is it? There's some kind of a ISO something when a star is flashing. I need to look that up because this is important. Super Oh, pulsar. Neutron stars. Supernova, okay. So pulsar and a supernova is basically the same thing, but it's giving me like, it's like Morse code, like flashing. It's almost like the message itself is coming intermittently in small increments from a star itself. Which is really, I mean, a supernova is when the star explodes, so it's like whatever life was present on that before it exploded was sending out the messages, and it's like the messages are coming clearer because of the explosion, like lighting up the sky. But it's something that can't quite be analyzed with normal technology. This information is not on the visible spectrum and can't be analyzed with the machinery that we have, the technology that we currently have. But this pulsar, there's some pulsar, some supernova, doesn't matter when it happened, but for some reason during this time it's sending out incremental, this is like a little radio tower, like Morse code, like but it's coming in this mythical realm, this interdimensional realm, and for some reason your guides are kind of using their little like butterfly catcher interdimensional thing to scoop up those messages because they're in this area of the universe right now and kind of sling them down at you while you're sleeping. So that's fun. It's not what I expected. Okay, so the guys are going to tell you something about your past. Okay, so and the back of these cards looks like a supernova too, like a pulsar, like boo, 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 boo. That's what that looks like. When we get radio signals from stars, when we're looking out in the night sky, what we're seeing is an imprint of the past because it takes so long for light to travel all that distance, right? Even at the 186 miles per second or whatever the hell it is, the speed of light, right? So we're 4 light years away from Alpha Centauri. When we look out in the night sky with a telescope even, and we look at Alpha Centauri, the information is 4 years old, right? It's like going to the doctor and the waiting room, and there's only Golf Life magazines from 4 years ago, and it's like, oh, right? It's not fresh information. It's not hot off the presses. It's not, Instagram from this morning. It's town and country with cushions that are so 2000 and late. So looking at the past is looking at something not necessarily in your past specifically to this reading, but something going on in the past of this pulsar that's pulling into the now. which is also not what I expected, because usually when we're talking about the past in this type of reading, it's your past, like your past life or something. But it's very possible for you to have been in where the supernova is, and it exploded, 16 years ago, 800 years ago, 12,000 years ago, and you would have passed through that lifetime already. Speaking of it in linear time, just for simplicity's sake, and had plenty of time to come and live your life here. So this could still be your past life, even if it's past according to this star. It's sort of interchangeable in that way, but in terms of this reading, it's explicitly, specifically dealing with the past life of this supernova pulsar system. Okay. Compelled to restart my section before I start reading. And we're going, okay. So we have Wands energy. That's that spiritual imperative, the gut feeling. So we have the Two of Pentacles. And this is, she's similar to the Maiden card. Two of Pentacles is usually a masculine being on the card, but we're not really worried about that. So we've got Two of Pentacles here. And I'm also not dealing with the astrological information. I thought about digging out my cheat sheet, and I was like, no, we're not doing that right now. And I think it's because if we're talking about this pulsar that's tens or hundreds or thousands of light years away, the night sky and the energy framework from our point of view to the stars around us isn't going to make a hell of a difference. There's no point. Like the framework is different, so we're not dealing with those astrological stuff. So anyway, we're dealing with the Two of Pentacles, and we have a feminine energy here. We have a few different kinds of eggs. It's like an egg for each of the four elements. And she's got little Taurian horns here. I know that this is, it should be a Capricornian energy, but it's giving me Taurus. Probably because Saturn's retrograde in Aquarius, and Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, is in Taurus. And I know that's still astrological information, but I'm seeing Taurus, you, in your own reading. Taurus is ruled by Venus, so we do have a feminine here, but we're dealing more with cracking a code of the elements themselves and not really of the astrological stuff. I see these roses here too. And I do see, which makes me think heart center, and then there's a heart right in the heart center too. She's got one in her throat as well. And we do have an eye here, which should be the third eye, but it's floating above. It's giving me that soul star chakra. And it's orange though. It's like bronze. There's a different atmospheric quality that changes hues that are normally one color to another one. There's a spectrum shift. Like a red shift. It's like something is moving differently. So we have thought inverted. I feel like this is the same character. There's like light and dark, and this to me is giving me that red shift again. It's more like black and orange, but if you think of blue and red, that's what it is there. I'm gonna have to look that up because I kind of know, but I don't really. There's a pentacle here. This is actually a major arcana for this deck, and we're not gonna worry about what it's similar to. We have thought here. This is giving me a little bit of that unicorn energy, but I need to look up red shift because I don't want to misspeak about what that is. So, okay, it's about radiation from distant galaxies. Alright, so it's... which is kind of what I was talking about anyway, right? It's so far away, the light is coming in differently. So even the way that you're viewing the supernova through the regular means of technology, it is distorted, which is why you can't get the information, right? It's like there's no thought, because like you aren't able to understand the thoughts that are coming from that civilization, because the information is distorted. Now, this is a spiritual zone here, right, Wands? This is cups. This is an emotional thing. It's like, it's upsetting me, it's frustrating me that my message isn't getting across. Like what if, like, how are we gonna do this? Like, how is everything that we've amassed going to be passed on when there's a distortion because of the distance itself and the angle of the way that the light is? Alright, so this is a swords zone. This is where the thought should be. Of course, it's a water card. So we have the Three of Cups, which really wants to be the Three of Swords here. This is normally that, like, party kind of thing. But here, it's like we're working together to try to communicate, right? It's like we're not celebrating, where we've got everybody on this together in a big group trying to express what's important about our society. I have 2 and I have 3 here, and this was, I forgot to see what this was. 18. Which breaks down to 9. There's sort of a shadow element here, like, oh my god, what if it doesn't work? Like, deep in my heart, I'm like, fear. I'm afraid that it's not gonna work. This is like trying to, like, juggling all of these different elements, right? Like, what method do we take? Are we doing this? Are we doing that? Are we doing that? Are we doing that? Like, there's too many things to do at once to keep some kind of, to keep part of what was there intact, right? There's like a spiritual imperative to choose which parts of the society are going to be broadcast before the supernova comes. I also see this as sort of like a boiling point, where it's like, it wants to be Three of Swords, like, oh my god, this is like emotionally eviscerating, but it's coming across as like, I don't even have time for that. We've got to get on it, like, put all your resources into it. So the manifestation of what's going on with its emotions inverted. Okay. This is kind of fiery. You can see there's dragons on there. Dark dragon, light dragon, dark and light. We see that here too. This is, to me, this is coming in different than the red shift. This is, I'm no longer in balance. This is number 19 here, which breaks down to 10. It's like the only way to complete this important cultural saving endeavor is to subvert any emotions, right? Gotta work together, don't have time to give in to ego issues. But the problem is survival mode can suppress the emotions and cause imbalance. And I think that there's sort of an undercurrent in the information that says this is what happened, and it might be a warning not to subvert, not to ignore your emotions in times of crisis, because this emotional upheaval is now in the DNA. It's in the spiral information database, in the light codes itself of what's being generated from that pulsar. Okay, is that focused? It doesn't look focused. I'm gonna sip of water before I go through the present. So we're going to look at what's going on in the present, which is essentially what are the downloads, right? I mean, what's the point of having your guides bring you a message if we don't look at what is the message? And that should be what's in here. So looking at Wands energy, the Six of Swords. So look at this. We have this dark and light, like red, or red and blue. And we have what here looks like a light code trying to be shifted back into a full spectrum. Right? It's like, and here, look at this. This is all the downloads coming in a circle right here. These are all the codes. This is all the stuff they're jamming into your cranium while you're trying to sleep. And from the root to the crown, which is blasting open, this is looks like a trance thing going on. It's like this message coming in is like the dark and the light need to be more in balance. There needs to be a heart center opening. The spiritual imperative is like a tempered thinking. It's at a 6, right? It wants to be healed, but it's at a lower vibration. But there's this idea that it's coming in with swords because it's information, right? It's a communication, a spiritual communication of the balance of polarities, which is something that it was like a huge polarity shift where there... Okay. What happened with this pulsar is that it was not a place where there was duality, and it landed in that zone. It was like, we're redistricting your solar system, and instead of being in light, you're getting... It's like you get duality, then you get duality. Look under your seats, everybody's getting duality. And the system became unstable. And in order to get some of their culture to survive, what they did was work together to send out the light codes into space. Like escape pods. But it was an emotional... it rolled emotional damage of 20. Let's put it that way. And here it's like the message coming in is that the in between the light and the dark, in the polarities, there is still a spectrum, and this is actually really important coming into Pride Month, because it's not just like left and right, good and evil, gay and straight. There's a lot going on in the middle, right? Like I was gonna say autism spectrum, but let me just make it very clear that gay and autism are not the same things. It's talking about things that people think are either entirely one or entirely the other, right? We have left-handed, right-handed, but there's a lot of stuff in between. Male and female. Well, just kidding, there's a bunch in between. Gay and straight. Just kidding, there's a bunch in between. So where things were defined previously, now there's like a lot more flavors. Right? We're not just doing vanilla and chocolate. We're doing mint. We're doing orange. We're doing like banana cherry. We're doing mango. We're doing mojitos. Like, we're doing salsa. There's different flavors, right? We're doing lemon and chamomile. We're not doing all one thing. It's like you can be shady, but you could also, be out there doing the light work. There isn't a fixed set. You're not a piece of garbage because you were depressed for a day. That kind of thing, right? You're not falling off the love and light train because you felt suicidal for a week. This is the information that's coming in. It's like we've been surviving our own duality for such a long time that this message is saying, like, we knew that we were supposed to, it's like we were living in the spectrum, which was all light. But the introduction of the polarity of the duality kind of smushed it. That's that like the red shift itself. It's like there is no blue anymore. There's only red, right? There is no Dana. There's only Zool. Now my battery's gonna go. Right? It's like, no, it's like a band, but people only remember like the singer and the drummer, and the three other people, like, people forgot about them. But they're like, no, those people were keyed in the music, and this is what this is. There isn't just one or the other. There's many things going on that all contribute to, like, expanding knowledge and the ability to ascend and to learn, right? Expansion doesn't just mean like I'm making more money, or like I have a bigger house, or or whatever. It's like the energy is more resonant. Right? If people can work together, but they don't all have to be carbon copies of each other. We're not like pressed in like a cubicle. There's people doing different things, so it becomes cooperative. It becomes complementary instead of hierarchical or in opposition. So we have desire. So these are including all of the elements, which is what this girl was juggling here in the past. There's this eye again from this And now instead of being orange, it's this black color. Again, we have this shift. So this is number 20 here. We think that we can't do what we love, or we can't do what we like, we can't fulfill our deepest desires. Well, I can't do this because of that. Or we don't do that here. You know, like, I'm in shadow, so now I hate myself and I'm not allowed to have this because I suck. Right? It's like, well, the life on TV isn't available to me, so now I can't have anything. There isn't one or the other. There's a lot of different paths available for people to actually follow their desires and not set their heart on stuff that that they're told that they want. You know, we've been in this duality zone where it's like, you do what I'm telling you. If I want your opinion, I'll give it to you. That kind of energy, where it's like your own heart is separated from your life purposes desire, right? Because the number 20 is traditionally judgment. It comes in with that, like, this is my lesson plan, but oh, now I can't do it because no, Freddie, famous person on the news, says that this is what the clothes that I should be wearing in the house that I should have, and I'm not doing that, so there's something wrong with me and now I can't complete my mission. This is saying, no, 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 no. Like, get into some of these other flavors here. Like, not everybody's gonna like the hot sauce. Some people just want it a little bit creamy. So in the swords energy, for what the message is that's coming in, like, now, my voice keeps cracking, so apparently I'm going through puberty during this reading, but it really just means the throat chakra is blowing out here. So this card, I think I saw somebody pull this in a reading recently, and I don't think I ever get this card in this deck to the point where I was like, I don't remember seeing that before. But I'm getting it now. Fire. This looks like this being resolved. Same people. The self. Number 14. A little bit like Temperance. Coming in inverted. Right? It's people telling you who you are. Now when I think, like, who am I? I can't figure out who I am. This is not communication here. This is thoughts. I can't figure out who I am because my heart center has been gouged out of my chest by the duality system, the polarity system, the society where egos are pitted against each other in who is the most fancy and has what other people have. Oh, now okay. So we have a girl with 2 dragons. 2 girls, oh my god. 2 girls, 2 dragons. And now we have 2 dragons, 1 girl. And now we have the girl has become the 2 dragons. There's a blending. Right? It's like we started out with her with the eggs. And this is her the whole time. Here there's a masculine, so at least we're trying to find some of the balance there in the emotions, right? Distorted masculine energy. This is a 2, this is a 2. This is 2 of Wands. Right? The spiritual imperative, Wands energy, the gut feeling, what is the core drive? I mean, we have the sacral chakra here too, right? What is, like, safety, allowing creativity, right? Feeling like your ideas aren't going to be trounced on. This is coming in manifestation. It's like you have to make a choice to manifest in alignment with the self. And it's like we have this unification of the duality as the message, and we see what's been going on. This is like pointing it out. But the way to manifest it in the world that we currently live in, which is not fully unified, is to come in as a duality. But here, it's like both halves of the self are on fire. And they're braided, their hair is braided together in the middle. It's like I'm aligned in my regular self, but my shadow self is coming to the party too. It's like me and my demons, like I'm not haunted by my demons. We're having a kiki. We're partying. It's like we're over here playing categories and having a grand time. I was thinking Parcheesi, but for some reason categories jumped into my mouth. Hopefully that makes sense. It's like I'm integrating myself, but I'm still operating in this duality where it's like I am not afraid of my shadow side. My shadow side has its own fire in terms of like I'm ready to go out into life and grab the bull by its horns, because to express myself is to add another stripe to the spectrum, and that's the only way to sort of successfully navigate a duality polarity world where it's like we weren't prepared, we didn't know, and this is what we're able to transmit. So this next row is supposed to be for the future. So I'm not quite sure what's going to come out in terms of what that means. Is it like your possible future, the future of the polarity system, what they expected to happen when their message got somewhere? I don't know. So let me see what these cards are. I'm going to flip them all over at once, I think. So Wands, we have another black and white card of Swords. So this is the Two of Swords coming in inverted. But I notice when I flip it over that the white and the black are on the same sides. 6 to 2. 2, 4, 6. Okay, let me flip this over too. So in the cups we have more swords. So we have the Four of Swords. This is an electrical grid. This is like them doing the science to try to get the message across. Now, Four of Swords is like, okay, this upright here is the interdimensional beings coming in and dropping all this download in while you're sleeping. This is waking up, but it's coming in the heart center. It's like there's something waking up. It's like it's coming out of the heart center. It's like I feel something. I don't know what it is, but I feel something. Like, it's like this, it's like a spiritual Jack in the Box. There's like a mystery package. It's like a gift box. I have no idea what the hell this is. But right? I can't see it from another perspective. Like what even the hell is this? This is something that has not been entertained in this duality. But it's not coming in through the solar chakra, right? It's like, how do I trust my gut feeling when this is something so alien to this environment? And so the only way for it to come in is to like drop it down the third eye chute and beam it to the heart center, so the heart center can chomp on it like a computer, like defragging it or unzipping it. It gets unzipped in the heart center. It's like, and it bypasses the normal throat chakra energy where all the thinking takes place, because it gets shipped in at night when you're not awake. So 9 of Pentacles inverted. She's got a third eye. Nine of Pentacles inverted. This is like, okay. So this is like the single ladies. I'm doing it all by myself. This is not something that could ever be done by one individual person. It's like, and you know that. You know that. You know, it's like, you have to know that you're not the only one getting this message. This isn't all on you, right? It's like sometimes if you're trying to heal your ancestral trauma, and you're like, why didn't my parents or my grandparents or their parents, like, why didn't they have to do all this emotional work? Why didn't they have to clear all their problems? Maybe because they couldn't see out of the duality that they were in. It's like, I'm the victim or I'm in charge. There's no in between. Right? It's like either this person's an asshole because they're not doing what I want, or I love them because they're doing what I like. It's never like, oh, they've got some issues they're trying to work through, or they've had a bad day, and I'm not going to take it personally. It's either one or the other, and that's it. It's like I have to solve hundreds of thousands of years of that all by myself, and contribute to the overhaul of society on the planet. It's like, no, you don't. You're not by yourself. You might not be talking to other people because this is something that's only going on in essentially the subconscious. There's a lot of Piscean energy on Earth, which is where this message is coming through. And I think this sort of like somebody left the subconscious warehouse unlocked and all this stuff's getting in, like rot, only not, it's not rot, it's like dusty or something, but you're not the only person that's getting this information, right? It's like they sent out, they blind carbon copied this email to thousands of people. So you might not be able to perceive other people, but you're not alone in this thing where all of a sudden your whole world is being essentially colored, right? It's the very opposite of the Rolling Stones song Paint It Black. It's like, it's more like, I think it's the box tops. It's like she's a neon rainbow. That kind of stuff. Like color my world, that kind of thing. Okay, so now we have another fire card inverted, and it's called the Hero. And again, I think this is 12. This is just reiterating this. What I was saying is like you're not the only one, right? You might feel totally alone in the physical world, and this like burden of like having to like go out there and shine bright like a star, like from the core of your being, seems daunting and exhausting. And it's like, just told you, you're not the only one out here, right? You don't have to be like the hero. You're not Superman, right? But it's like there has to be a passion there, but it's like slow burn that, right? Don't burn yourself out. Okay. So I'm going to start another segment, because if I'm going to do these charms, I don't want it to come messed up. This is going to be a long reading. Okay. Change this. Okay. So the charms to end the reading. So right away we have the yin yang. That's the duality. But the duality isn't separate with the yin yang. Right? We're not dealing with this complete one side and the other side split down the middle. Not only is it, I mean, it's in half, right? There's still a duality here, but what we've done is they're starting to swirl around together, and there's a little bit of dark in the light and a little bit of light in the dark. And what this is a cross section of a Taurus, not you, the sign Taurus, but a Taurus, Taurus. It's a donut. And the toroidal field, when it's cross-sectionally chopped, can look like a yin-yang. I think it's a double torus, like two donuts stacked on top of each other, that makes this shape. But it's still toroidal. So we have the yin-yang balancing the dark and the light. And of course the next thing out of this would be the rainbow itself, but we'll see. So, sticks out. It's this other thing. Okay. This is not quite sure where this is going. So I have a record player. Is it in focus? So I have a record player. I need to spread these cards out because I'm going to have a hard time seeing where the charms are. Does that look like it's in focus? There, that's probably better. Let's see. That looks pretty good, I think. So the record player coming in upright. I have the Stegosaurus. Now it was looking at me in the box, and I was like, oh, I should grab that, and then I ignored it. And I went to grab a couple of charms without looking, and I got this big goose that I have in there. And I was like, that's not right, I need the Stegosaurus. So I put the goose back, and I grabbed the Stegosaurus out, because I needed it. But then I also got the Fancy Duck. Fancy Duck has a little tuft on his crown, so we still have that crown activity. And again, I'm not quite sure what all these charms mean yet. I'm going to have to rearrange them. Rearrange them till I'm sane. So here's the icosahedron, and I believe the icosahedron is water. Water element. So we're dealing with an emotional issue. And of course the duck is also a water elemental, I should say. So I have an elephant. An elephant should be a fire elemental, if I remember correctly. But essentially representing the brain, right? The ears are the two lobes of the brain. The trunk represents the brain stem, and then where the elephant's third eye would be that our own third eye, really. So I'm not quite sure what that represents. I'm going to put it with the Stegosaurus for a minute. Oh, this is spinning like a record. There's movement, like the chariot energy. The dark and the light working together, which is this over here. What's this? That's probably blurry. I'm not going to keep like focusing it in and out. I'm just trying to get it. Maybe if I come over here to do these charms, let me do it like this. Yeah, there we go. I can see. Let me do like a zoomed in kind of a... Nope. Alright, here we go. So the thing that's annoying is like if I adjust it too far in one direction, it shuts the camera off and I have to make another segment, which is really irritating. Okay, so the other one I have here that's upright is the skull. Dead ass. I'll put that here for now. I'm getting Brain Damage by Pink Floyd. It's on the Dark Side of the Moon. And again, it's like, it's the rearrange me till I'm sane thing. Curse. I listened to it a couple times the other night and I still don't remember what it is. Okay, so here's the dodecahedron. I was thinking about it. This came in inverted. I'll put the inverted stuff on the other side of my table line here so I remember. So this is spiritual element dodecahedron. Put it over here. Oh, it's like mirroring. So the bat inverted. This is like sonar. Nighttime as well, right? I'm getting pinged at night, and also I'm upside down, which is giving me this energy, because this could be like a hanged man, lower vibration of the hanged man, but not always upside down, right? I'm upside down when I sleep. I'm in the underworld, but then when I wake up, like I realize that I've been getting some information at night. Spiritual information, but these are both inverted, right? Yeah, like I said, when I'm sleeping at night, I'm in the underworld. Okay. So also inverted, I have the ice cream cone. It took me several tries to draw this properly, and it looks really friggin' good right now. This one came out really nice. So inverted ice cream cone. I feel like that goes with the duck. I'm gonna put these here. Like, if I stick the ice cream cone on top of my head, I can pretend I'm a unicorn, right? Just like unicorn. But that makes me think of the duck, right? Because it's got a tuft on its head. I'll put the elephant over here too. Try to keep these in the frame. Okay, so then I have the Tesla coils inverted. Or the Zeusophone. This is inverted. It's like a resonant power issue. What's this one? Oh, it's a frog. Okay. Frogatoad. This is inverted. This reminds me, I did this in a video once. I have these little Ladybird Easy Reader books from the 60s and or 70s. And one of them is The Princess and the Frog looks a lot like this. And I got this big thing on some reading within the last couple months where I was talking about how the frog is sort of like, you don't belong here, like, ew, you're gross, and then, you know, because the princess hasn't encountered a frog before, and it's like, ew, you're slimy, came out of the water, like, I don't want to touch you, like, you're beneath me kind of energy. And then when she stops acting like a complete biatch, you know, it's turned out that the frog is like royalty and regal and glowing and all this. It's coming in inverted. So that might be the case. It's just sort of like, it's enchanted, but is it still enchanted if it's malicious? Like sorcery? I guess they call it enchantments. A loss of power. A loss of spiritual technology. Ooh, okay, so this nighttime download is speaking of loss of spiritual power. Huh. Oh, by people who were faking having their third eye open. Interesting. Fake spiritual. Okay. So people who are really in tune have been maligned by fake spiritual technology. Okay, so this other one here is the chalet. It's like a representation of a house. But we're talking about the chalet is like on a mountain. People go skiing. They stay overnight and it's warm. It's small. It's got a pitched roof. But it's inverted. She took my home and my house and my cat. That's from So I Married an Axe Murderer. What's that Stegosaurus doing? This is the record here. It's moving now. It's spinning. But this is a feedback loop, right? There's a feedback loop on repeat. And it's coming in emotionally. I mean, what's dead? Stegosaurus? Oh, okay. Alright. Stegosaurus is dead. This is elephant and the duck having common. This is water. This is like mental. Okay. It's like this thing is as dead as the dinosaurs. This paradigm. Right? It needs to be pushing up the daisies. It's been going on for thousands of years, maybe millions of years. Right? It's like technology. There's like this is weird too, because it's like this is extinct, right? 65, well, Stegosaurus is further time ago, like 100 million years, but we're talking about like a distance, right? Because there was a measurement at the beginning of the reading. The distance between man and dinosaurs. The evolution of consciousness over that time period. Throughout the universe, the multiverse, all the dimensions. The consciousness has increased because of the feedback loop, right? It just keeps playing. Now, what's interesting too is that I don't have, oh, why didn't I think of this? God damn it. This probably has the lyrics in it too. The dark side of the moon right? I have the album, but I only have the album on vinyl. There it is. Black and white becoming a spectrum. This charm before I rip it in half. Through a tetrahedron. How do you like them apples? Oh, man, don't work with me over here. Okay. Oh. Right, so let me. Oh, and of course the song "Brain Damage." Boom. Let me see. I got lyrics in here somewhere. Oh, they're printed in the album. Okay, I thought there was like a sheet of paper. You can see how many times I freaking opened this up. I don't use my record player that often because if I'm doing stuff, my hands are usually dirty. Okay. The lunatic is on the grass, remembering games and daisy chains and laughs. Got to keep the loonies on the path. The lunatic is in the hall. The lunatics are in my hall. Right? That's like the information is going directly into my brainstem. The paper holds their folded faces to the floor, and every day the paper boy brings more. And if the dam breaks open many years too soon, that has to do with universal timing, right? It's like if you get, if we had the technology, right, we can't use this, and we can't use this. Oh, is that upside down? Yeah, it's upside down. Holding the phone upside down. And we can't get this. Because the spectrum that's coming from the pulsar is still inverted, right? There's no rainbow. We can't get the rainbow. Because the technology isn't working. Oh, that's why this was upside down, because the phone was upside down. Like, our technology wasn't working. But people have, over this long period of time, the feedback loop has expanded consciousness enough that we're not faking it. We're actually able to receive this information while we're sleeping. And that is that right time, right? If the dam breaks open many years too soon, right? We had to wait for the spiritual technology of the people themselves to be up to par for the message to come through. It's not too soon anymore. It would have been if they had found this information in 1977 or 86 or whenever. And if there's no room upon the hill, and if your head explodes with dark forebodings too, that's this guy. I'll see you on the dark side of the moon. Right? The moon, dark and light, and we're only ever seeing half of it. But what we want to do is like sneak around that corner and see what's back there. We're going to light up the night here. The lunatic is in my head. The lunatic is in my head. You raise the blade. You make the change. You rearrange me till I'm sane. Right? That's those downloads. It's changing the information in your head. There we go. This elephant's got its eyes closed, right? It was supposed to be peaceful, but in this case, it's sleeping, right? This is the mind. And it's being altered. Why? Because there's movement. There was a chariot energy here. The wheel was turning. Like there, like that. You lock the door and throw away the key. There's someone in my head, but it's not me. That's some of this, right? Like, ew, you can't come in here, go away. But you need to buy what I tell you to buy. You need to be who I tell you to be. It's like, you're not the boss of me. Like, screw you guys, I'm going home. And if the cloud bursts thunder in your ear, you shout and no one seems to hear. And if the band you're in starts playing different tunes, ooh, where'd my record player go? Oh. And I was saying that this is like when there's more people than two in a band. I was thinking of the Beatles, but I didn't want to say it, right? The Beatles were more than just John and Paul. There's George and Ringo too. And if the band you're in starts playing different tunes, I'll see you on the dark side of the moon. Right? It's like if you can hear these other songs, if you can get this other information, right? Thunder, a cloud is like something that's like obscuring. Like in the Lenormand, the cloud is like, I can't see it. And when it bursts, then there's sunlight coming in the direction of where the information is coming in the Lenormand card. But thunder, in at least one of the oracle decks that I've got, Mystical Shaman, is like your guides and information and stuff, like they will be heard, right? You can't ignore it. If you put your hands over your ears to drown out the sound, it's going to start beaming from the middle of your head. Oh, that's so... It's so... Look at this. A pulsar. In bursts, too, because it's like a heartbeat. And why? Because the pulsar information is coming in through the heart center. Because it has to bypass all the thinking. Okay, so now that I've got all the charms completely messed up, I mean, that was supposed to be a wrap-up to that, but it's sort of explaining why it is doing what it's doing. Okay, so this was really long. I think it's over an hour. I don't have anything else to say. And it doesn't even really say, like, it doesn't really say all of what the message is necessarily, but it's also coming in during Mercury retrograde, so it's like the information has to unfurl, right? I'm still dazed and confused. This is like you can't hide from the avalanche. Right? This thing is rolling. It's going to right, it's spinning, right? It's spinning, there's movement. It's a stampede. And it's not physical. It's like again, it's in your head. It's like inside your skull where the information is going. It's going to take a few weeks until Mercury is done being in retrograde, and probably until Jupiter is done retrograding in Pisces, for the information to congeal all the way. But it's kind of, there's going to be some clashing, I would say, probably between, like, we've been seeing it for a little bit. I mean, in the public sphere, there's clashing between those that want to keep the duality. I mean, essentially segregation. Whether that's class, color, religion, you know, sexuality, spirituality, whatever, any division There's people that want this to stay in place. There's others who are getting these downloads, and en masse, they're like, I'm done. You're not going to let me work from home? I quit. Right? Screw you guys. I'm going to be with who I want to be with. I'm going to be who I am. And we've seen that sparking off over the last year and a half, but it's sort of, again, it's like snowballing. And I've had, it's called No More Tears, but the subtitle is Enough is Enough. It's Barbra Streisand and Donna Summer. It's on the Wet album, right? We're dealing with an emotional thing. Enough is enough is enough. I want him out. Him, not a dig at the masculine energy, but it's sort of the patriarchy. It's a distortion. And it's not to say that necessarily that the duality is the patriarchy, because duality consciousness happened essentially before the patriarchy on Earth existed. But it certainly fell into that pattern. It did it to the extreme, like as best as it possibly could. And from what I've heard, at least sometime in the long distant past, there was a distorted matriarchy. And this isn't a tit for tat. It's sort of like it was the masculine energy's turn to be in distortion for thousands of years. But the overall issue is still duality consciousness is breaking down. And we're going to see it unravel over the next 3 weeks, and then more so over the next 4 or 5 months. I'm not sure how long Jupiter's going to be retrograde, because I don't know yet. When does it actually go retrograde? On the 21st. So, okay. So there's going to be sort of a spike event because Mercury goes direct within like a couple days of Jupiter going retrograde. But, I believe Jupiter retrograde lasts for a few months. So when the fall hits, it's like literally going to be the fall. But for some reason this is coming up for Taurus, and I do think it has a lot to do with Uranus being in Taurus right now. The collective consciousness. But it starts with individuals. And what we've got here is a Venus energy. Even though this card might not specifically be Venus. But we're dealing with... It's like a nurturing. But Venus also rules Libra, which is a balance. So it's grounding, it's balancing, and it's nurturing, which is probably why Taurus energy is anchoring it. So maybe Taurus is sort of like first battalion of those who are getting this information, and it's sort of like I think it's called the 100 monkey thing, but I think it only takes 3 individuals, right? Or they have a test where they like drop some thing for a colony of primates. I don't know if they were gibbons or orangutans or what, but they had I think they dropped some fruit or something, and it was all sandy, and it was hard for them to eat. And then, like, one of them figured out how to wash it before eating it, and then another one figured it out, or it copied the first one. And then a third one figured it out, but after the third one learned how to, like, wash the food, different populations of that same primate in totally, like, halfway across the world, all of the sudden, all knew how to, like, wash that new food that they hadn't seen before. I'm pretty sure that's what happened, and I'm pretty sure I also explained it really crappy, but that's the gist of it. I think it was called the 100 Monkey Experiment, but I also thought maybe that was the typewriter thing. But the point is, you know, it's like that thing where it's like, once you tell 3 people your business, suddenly everybody knows it. But if you only tell 1 person or 2 people, it might not get out. But it's like, for some reason, you tell 3 people and suddenly it's like viral. It goes viral. That's basically what it is. It's viral knowledge, right? It's sort of, it's like transmitting on waves, and it comes in at a vibration. And once you signal boost it to enough people, it creates this sort of like a Wi-Fi of that idea. And then, like, other people start picking up on it. And it kind of happens that way too, sort of like, I think it was like Newton and Copernicus had the same idea around, like, they both invented calculus around the same time, or it may not have been Copernicus, it was like Newton and some other dude who I can't remember. But it's happened a few times in science too, right? It's like, Tesla and somebody else invented something at the same time, and then they were like, hey, Tesla, so-and-so stole your idea, and he was like, well, it's a good idea. You know, like, purportedly. So there's this idea that, like, maybe the first wave of this information is people with Taurus in their chart, or who are hitting the Taurus energy, right? People who are Capricorn, because Saturn's retrograding in Aquarius and Uranus is in Taurus right now. Or it could be people who are Aquarius because Uranus is in Taurus right now. What else? Who else is in Taurus? It's Lilith is in Taurus right now, which is, guess what? The dark side of the moon. Or at least the apogee of the dark side of the moon. Taurus energy. So Taurus, and I know I wasn't going to do astrology, but we're talking about what's going on Earth right now. So, you can see my handwriting is real craptastic. I found a drawing, an old drawing the other day that had my math homework on it from high school, and my handwriting was like this like 20 years ago, so it's like, ugh. So the moon in Taurus on June 6th to 8th. So people with Cancer in their charts are going to be dropping through that Taurian energy. So if you're if you're cross-watching or something and you have Cancer in your chart, you might be hitting some weird dreams coming, in a few days from when this is going to be posted. And Venus is in Cancer from the 2nd to the 26th, which runs the Taurian energy. So again, maybe not even specifically those 2 days, but throughout most of the month, anybody who's got Cancer in their chart, or again, if you're Cancer cross-watching for Taurus, you might be getting some weird-ass dreams during June. Just checking this to see what else is going on. I'm not a full astrologer. I can't read charts, and I don't understand like degrees and houses and trines and all that shit yet. I have a book and I haven't read it. I started reading it and then I did not finish it yet. And I should, because I bought it 2 years ago and it's just still sitting there. I'm like 40 pages into it. I think that's it. I mean, Venus also rules Libra. So, like, the moon in Libra, 18th and 19th, hitting that energy again. I don't think there's anything else going on in Libra, really. But yeah, those are things that are going to be affecting who's picking up the messages. But it's going to be radiating out to everyone else who isn't sitting in heavy Taurian energy. And it's going to be happening over the next few weeks to the next few months. It's like once enough people get the idea, it's going to spread like wildfire here. Okay. This has been long. I'm drifty. I'm tired. It's like 4 a.m. Apologize for rambling, but that's how we do sometimes. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Like, throw me a frickin' bonus, and then it's like 2 hours long. If you'd like to help support my work, you can donate, energy exchange, hit that tip jar, PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo. Those are all Cat the Minion. It's through my Linktree, linktr.ee/cattheminion. And if you'd like to get a personal reading, I offer this reading that I just did, the general inquiry, and a bunch of other different kinds of readings at different price points, including the Help Me I Can't Afford a Reading, which is $9. So if you can't afford a reading, just say I can't afford a reading, and if you wanted another reading but you can only afford the $9, then I'll pattern that to, abbreviate one of the larger readings into the 6 cards that are available. And I've got merch and prints and actual art items over here on Etsy. There's a coupon code. 3 or more items, you get 17% off. And if you go through the link tree, that code should pop in at the top. I've got coloring books. I've got dark poetry. If you want to work out some of your shadow side, that might be good. And it's got a skull on the front of it, so that's relevant. Not sure what I'm doing. I got social media, I got my email here, all that's through here as well. I wanted to talk about the chapbook packs again. So the chapbook packs are like a synchronicity stimulus packet. I just made some more. I pulled the pages off of my calendars. So I got some new envelopes here that I made. We got some Art Deco fashion going on over here. And I got this Queen calendar that my mom got me. So we got some envelopes here for these chapbook packs. And there's different art, and I'm pretty sure that one that had that math homework is in here somewhere. So there's different art things in here. For example, this right here. Some fabric swatches too. So there's going to be little drawings like that, and then even smaller drawings on little artist trading cards, and then 2 of those, and then 2 printed cards. One of these longer drawings folded in half, and a little chapbook, which is some of the poetry from my dark poetry. So those are all randomized. I have like 500 of them sitting on my floor ready to go, and those are through my Etsy. So they're like a little bit over $3 each, and if you get 3 of them, you get a discount, so it'll take a little bit off of that price. which is how I was able to compensate for not being able to price them the way I wanted to on Etsy. I think that's it. I'm super rambly. I don't want to stop yet, though. There's something I'm forgetting. I don't remember. I think that's it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, check out my playlists tab, my discussion tab, and stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye.